words are Jaya, Jaya, Amma. Amma, Jaya, Jaya. Praise, praise. The divine, feminine face of God. And then, about halfway through, we call out the words that Gandhi loved so much. Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. Badly paraphrased means the more we discover, encounter, experience the truth of who we are and everyone is, the more we experience kind of tickle in the soul called Ananda or bliss. I'll sing a line to you, just sing it right back. Jaya, Jaya, Amma, Amma, Jaya, Jaya. Jaya, Amma, Amma, Jaya, Jaya.
Jaya, Jaya, Amma, Amma,
chant that we just sang comes from a tradition in India, an ancient tradition, that affirms and celebrates the divine feminine, the feminine face of God. When I was able to be there in India, I had the joy, the absolute pleasure of being in the flat with the granddaughter of Mohandas Gandhi. Her name is Usha. And Usha invited a small group of us in and told us stories about her grandfather. It was pure joy, and she was very gracious. And as a way of saying thank you, we sang this chant to her, which, again, there needs to be more of that. So we sang it to her as an expression of the divine feminine in gratitude for her. There are other traditions that affirm what can be called the feminine face of God. One of them is the Celtic tradition. The tradition that rose up many centuries, millennia ago, in the places we call Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Britain, and so on. And the story that I'd like to share with you tonight is the great story of the North Atlantic that I heard from the storytellers in Ireland, and I'd like to share it with you tonight. It's the story of the Selkie, sometimes called the Seal Woman. It goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a fisherman who got up one morning very early and noticed that the tide had gone way out, so far out, that he could see a tiny little island in the distance he had never seen before. And so the fisherman gathered up his nets and walked out on the floor of the sea, which was now just mushy, and walked quite a distance until he arrived at the island. And there, around the island, were all kinds of edibles, razorfish, shellfish, and the fisherman began to fill his nets. And he continued for hours, filling his nets with these shellfish and razorfish and edibles in the sand. And he got tired. And on the island was a nice little grassy area, so he lay down and went to sleep, took a nap. When the fisherman awoke, time had passed. It was now getting to be dark, and the tide had come back. So now he was trapped on the island. He had gotten what he wanted, but now he was trapped by what he wanted. So the fisherman decided to pitch his tent there that night, and as it was getting darker and darker, the moon, and I want you to remember this, the moon was full and the moon was bright. Would you say that with me? The moon was full and the moon was bright. And on that full, bright moon night, the fisherman experienced something he had not experienced before. For as he sat there on the island in the darkness, under the full, bright moon, a thunderous sound emerged from the sea, flipping and flopping and barking, and it was seals, hundreds of seals, emerging out of the sea onto the sand. He saw them underneath the full, bright moon, their sleek black skin shining under the moonlight. And as they arrived on the sand, on the shore, one by one, something happened. because something always happens. As they emerged onto the sand, one by one, these seals dropped their seal coat and became human. One by one, they became human beings. This is an ancient story, long before Darwin and the theories of evolution. These ancient stories, they knew stuff. So the fisherman was now enchanted, which is a very good thing to be sometimes. As he watched these seals becoming human beings, he fixed his eyes upon them, and all throughout the night, these now human beings were together. And they were together in three ways. They were together in the wonder, in the joy, and the splendor of each other's company. I'll say that again. They were together, these humans, in the wonder, the joy, and the splendor of one another. And isn't that what we all seek, really? So throughout the night, the fisherman, enchanted as he was, waited. Finally, dawn approached. And as the sun began to rise, one by one, these human beings returned to the sea, draping their seal coats over their shoulders and diving into the water once again as seals, all except for one. She lay in a rock asleep. The fisherman, without thinking, ran over to where she was and took her seal coat and began to walk away. She woke up, saw the fisherman walking away, and instinctively followed him. She went back to his house, where she became the woman in his life. Years passed. They had children. And every night she would tuck her children in bed just so. And every night she would comb their hair just so. But on the nights when the moon was full, when the moon was bright, she would walk down to the sea, and on the shore she would sing. It was a song without words, a yearning, a longing, a sigh, an ache for a life that was truly her own, for she had no memory of her life in the sea. And then she'd go back into the house. She'd do what needed to be done. One day, she was making bread. And there at the tabletop, she had the dough and the oil and everything ready. But something happened, because something always happens. A single drop from the thatched roof fell on the tabletop where she was working. A single drop of seal oil from her seal coat that her husband had hidden years earlier. She noticed it. She didn't pretend it wasn't there. She didn't deny it. She saw it. She paid attention. She reached out and touched the drop of seal oil and brought it up to her nose and smelled it. It smelled good. And then she brought it to her tongue. It smelled, in the words of Genesis, very good. And in that moment, her whole being was flooded with a memory of her life in the sea, in the depths. She knew who she was, and she knew what she must do. So she went up into the roof, retrieved her seal coat, brought it down, held it like a child, and then walked out of the house. Her husband and kids were away that day. She walked down to the sea coast, Over her shoulders the seal coat went. She became seal again and dove into the water to find her seal family. But the story doesn't end quite yet. When her husband and kids came home, they discovered that she was gone. Really gone. They knew it. They were heartbroken. But the story ends this way. On the nights when the moon is full and bright, the husband would come home, the fisherman would return from his work and find the children tucked in bed, just the way she used to tuck them in bed, and their hair would be combed just the way she would comb their hair. And on those full moon-bright nights, the fisherman now would go down to the seacoast and sing a song of longing for a life that was truly his. And that's the end of the story. So, we could share, if we want to, about the story. Have you fellas heard that story before? It's our story. It's your story. Meaning that it's primal human story. With all kinds of beautiful meanings and challenging implications. But anybody care to respond to that story in any way? So I would just encourage you to hold on to that story. It has many more meanings than we could ever imagine. And I think it's very important, relevant, poignant, meaningful for today, in our life today. So maybe another time we can share and talk about the story. Like many ancient stories, it's best to hear it again and again, and to live with it for a while. Best told at night, around the fire. So we can imagine that. We'll close with a song. The song comes out of Ireland, and it's the song of a song that asks the question, who am I? In the wonder and in the woe meaning the suffering of the world. Who am I in the darkness and the light? And then the response, it's a call and response. I'll sing a line to you like, I am wind upon the sea. I am the salmon swimming in the river, and so on. And it moves through what some people would call the resonance centers of the body. So enjoy the ride. Mm-hmm. Here it comes. Appreciate the drumming, Michael. Who am I in the wonder? Who am I in the woe? Who am I in the wonder? the part we sing a song without words. We simply sigh back. So we're singing about transformation. It's usually pretty messy. Gotta go through water and fire and air and all kinds of stuff. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And community is part of it. Just like the story says. Together in the wonder, the joy, the splendor, and in parentheses, the messiness of community life. It's so worth it. And yet the question remains, who are we in the wonder? Who are we in the woe? Who are we in the wonder? Who are we in the woe? Who are we in the darkness? Who are we in the light? Who are we in the darkness? Who are we in the light? At the close of this day, we give you thanks for your great love that has always been, for millennia, in every person, at all times, in all places. May we get a glimpse of your great love, and may it enchant us and sweep us off our feet. May it be so.